Are you planning to purchase a property in the near future? Well, then you should watch this video as I share with you 3 mistakes I see buyers make all the time that I want you to avoid. Hi, my name is Larissa. I am a Toronto-based real estate agent specializing in helping first-time homebuyers get into the market. And today I want to talk to you about common mistakes that I see buyers make all the time and that I personally try to help my own buyers and clients avoid. If you have questions about this video or wish to speak further, you can reach me using my Calendly link below. I've also put some free resources below for you as well. And if you do enjoy this video, I ask that you like and subscribe for future content just like this. Now, let's talk about the 3 mistakes I see people make all the time when buying a property. The first one has got to be, and I've seen this a lot recently, purchasing a property with a short-term plan in place. Now, what do I mean by that? If you're buying a property, I always recommend to my clients to be ready and willing to hold on to that property for a minimum of 5 years. 10 years is even better, and longer than 10 years is perfect. So if you know your circumstances are going to change in 5 years, i.e. you're going to grow a family, or perhaps have a child, or maybe you need to be in a certain location in 5 years, purchase with that in mind. So if, for example, right now you can only afford a 1-bedroom, maybe buy a 1-bedroom that you can see as a potential long-term investment that you can then rent out in 5 years if suddenly you've outgrown that space or in a shorter period. I know it's tough because most people get into the market just buying what they can afford. And I don't think a lot of people want to live in a studio, for example, for 5 years. If you can, you're going to definitely make that money back, which is great, but just try to think long-term. So if you do have to use it as an investment or a rental in the future, try to think of what neighborhoods would be best for that. Or again, if you know you're having a child, maybe look for a den that is enclosed versus one that is open, or buy a property that has some ability to modify to suit your lifestyle in the future. The second mistake that I see people make all the time is they buy with emotion. Now, before you purchase a property, I think it's really good that you have your goals and your values in place in terms of what you're looking for, what are your must-haves, what are things you can compromise on, what's your pricing like. Having all of this is going to help put you back on the straight and narrow when you fall in love with a property. I have seen so many times my clients go into staged properties and they fall in love, and it might not even meet their must-haves or the things they're really looking for, but they get emotional and they fall in love with the home, or perhaps it's close to a school they want their children to go to, or their neighbor lives down the street, something crazy that really kind of pulls on their heartstrings or their emotions, and suddenly they've thrown out the window all the things they were looking for or their budget. So be really careful with your emotions. This also applies to high pressure scenarios like offer dates. If you're in an offer presentation, it's so easy to blow your budget or to remove conditions you don't feel comfortable with. So just make sure if you're going into that kind of a scenario, you have sort of your logic with you, you know where you stand, so that if it comes to making a split moment decision, you can make that decision and with confidence and know where you stand. So definitely emotions are good, but keep them in check. The final mistake that I see buyers make all the time is they don't know their finances. And I mean this in more than just one way. Obviously, your pre-approval amount is where you're gonna wanna start when you're buying, right? So understanding, okay, I'm approved for this number. This is roughly what it gets me. I always like to send my own clients a list of, here's some recent sales you can get in your budget of places that you could have purchased. Do they look good to you, yes or no? And that kind of helps us drive whether or not they're gonna start the process or keep saving. But obviously pre-approval is important. But beyond that, knowing your numbers in terms of for your pre-approved amount, what does that look like on a monthly basis for your mortgage? And then beyond that, if you're purchasing a condo, what's your maintenance fee look like? So if you know your mortgage is going to be $2,500 a month, does your maintenance fee need to stay at $500 or less in order to budget with your income? So just having a really clear idea of, the monthly affordability options for you, once you factor in all of your expenses and your salary, not just your purchase price. And also with this, understanding if you are doing a buy and a sell, what is your property going to then be selling for? Have you factored that into your purchase price? What's the low end? What's the high end? Just having a really clear idea of your finances and where you stand in terms of finances and numbers makes people make decisions with more confidence. If you're a buyer right now and you have no idea what your pre-approved amount looks like on a monthly basis, or how long the payment terms are, what your expenses are on a monthly basis, even that's not related to housing. So looking at car payments, food, expenses like going to restaurants, like kind of your disposable spending. Have an idea of what that looks like before you purchase a property, because then you can make decisions comfortably without any regrets later. So these are the three things I see people make decisions with that are kind of mistakes all the time, is purchasing a property based on emotion. So kind of, blowing their budget, throwing out their mandatory like list of must-haves. That's definitely one mistake people make. Not knowing your budget and your finances is another huge one, and buying with a short-term vision. If you can avoid these mistakes, I promise you, you will be a happier purchaser, and you probably will not have buyer's remorse. And that's important when you're making one of the biggest purchases of your life. So be sure to avoid these mistakes. And if you have any questions or you want to chat about more things I see buyers make mistakes with that you want to avoid, book a call with me. You can use my Calendly link. There is no obligation. Or again, follow this page and I'll continue to share more insights and information with you to make you a more informed buyer. Wishing you a great day.